All right, guys, before we get into the video, I want to talk about my YouTube membership program. Every week, I'm offering Metagame Monday After Dark, where I am laying out the blueprint for how to attack the metagame in the coming week. It's the exact same stuff that I'm going to be applying to my decks. You have a front row seat to that. Then I'm also playing Eyes on the Prize, where Eureka22422 and I will be playing out the finals matchups from the previous week of the Legacy Challenges, and you get to see awesome situations like Super Shredder beating turn 3 Emrakul attack. Then, of course, I'm also recording my challenge runs. Sometimes they end up in a win. You have a challenge from round 1 all the way to the finals. And, of course, my 5-0 league runs. All of that stuff is exclusive to my YouTube members. So make the $5 investment, and I'll see you over there. Now enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome to another Legacy video. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. You could be literally anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here. I can't take that for granted. Thank you so much. Today we're going to be playing some classic tempo. We're going to be playing a blue-red with good old Delver of Secrets. Of course, we have our Cutters and our Murktide on top of the curve, full 8/1 drops, full places of Daze. However, when you're making your 75 for Izzet tempo, you have to make some concessions. You cannot beat Barragoyf, Chalice, Energy, and hate on non-basic lands at the same time. So today we're cutting some corners. Just a single heat for Barragoyfs in the 75. The Brazen counts, flying in with creatures on top of it counts. I am running both 2 copies of Rough Tumble against Energy. I am running a single Abrade for the occasional kill a Chalice situation. It just helps us at extra spot removal in some matchups as well. Single price to dig for against lands, Beanstalk, Mystic Forge, stuff like that. Standard with the Pyros, with the extractions, with the negations, Hydros, and Consign. Very, very consistent with how I build my deck. So nothing new there. This deck is looking to get out of the gates with a 1-drop. It's looking to hopefully grind a little bit with Corey. And then Murktide is the big ace up in the sleeve when damage need to be dealt in huge chunks. With Bowmasters being a little bit down, I'm cautiously optimistic about how we're going to fare. So let's get into some matches. All right, round 1, I'm paired against Bosch and Roll. Is always a cool one. We unfortunately have to mulligan to 5, I think. How much potential does his hand have if I go Wasteland Pass, draw 2 cards? What if there's a land there? Maybe that's better than going to 5. Yeah, this is incredibly bad, but I don't want to go to 5. Here's a Bauble. Here's a Riddler. Here's a Pass. Yeah, going to 5 there is just brutal. Okay, I get a land, so I guess this is like mulliganing to 5.5. Always, when you auto, well, let me put it this way: if you think there's such thing as like an auto mulligan, you know, there might be something very close to it, but you also always have to weigh it up against the alternative, which is, in this case, if I don't have a land in my top 2, I think I'm just dead, period. But if I mulligan to 5, then how big of a chance do I give myself, right? You have to kind of compare those two. Both are terrible, but now, you know, one of them is better than the other. It's the logic anyway. Bosch is sitting on basics. Here's a Quantum Riddler. I think I should just daze that card, to be honest. I don't really want to worry about that card later. Let's see if I can flip my Delver. That would be cool. Can't. Let's cast Ponder, set up a flip. Okay. This is indeed setting up a flip, so maybe I'm supposed to go like this. Brazen Brainstorm Channeler. Attack for 1. Ooh, wait a minute. Was I supposed to swap? Yeah. I think I botched it here. I was supposed to swap Brazen on this card, because if my opponent plays a Must Force, I want to pitch the Brazen, and then I want to slam the Murktide next turn. Yeah, I botched it. Stoneforge Mystic. I botched it. Well, this is terrible. And now we are getting cooked. So, of course, this force of will makes it, you know, a little less relevant, but I was certainly supposed to have a Murktide left over in my hand. So I would play that card now and do some cool things. My opponent getting pre-war formal wear. Not sure what to make of that. Let's Wasteland the Tundra, play land, play Channeler, attack in the air. That's all I can do here. Pre-war. So my only hope is my opponent does not have a good equipment in hand, I think. And that my opponent is getting pressured in the air here. Well, getting to 6 and not having a colored source. Turn 1, you have to do some, I guess, desperate stuff. So I'm drawing the Brazen here. I think that's okay. Especially because some of Brian's outs here would be something like Batterskull or whatever. Okay. Well, let's pass and hopefully bounce a Germ or something. Okay, here's the dog. Well, yeah. I feel like I should just bounce that card. I don't want my opponent to reset my Delver. Maybe I should consider that. Would that be the end of the world? If Brian resets that card, I can pretty reliably set it up with what else I have going on. I think I should just bounce it, to be honest. Let's do this. Too much bad things can happen here. Daze. Do I want to daze directly on top of my deck? I don't think that makes sense. Let's see if Brian has any interaction here. I'm getting dazed. And now Brian can maybe set up a Riddler situation. And if that happens, I think I'm out of luck. Because I can get my opponent to 5. And then I'm 2 bolts off and not 1. Okay, never mind. So the dock will reset the Delver. This is where Daze could come in handy. Okay. The dog is not going to do that. How does Brian stabilize here? Because stone forging for an equipment here. This could be too late, but let's see about that, of course. Meteor sword. No plow. Draw. Lightning bolt. Well, let's attack. So Brian's hand is pre-war formal wear. It's meteor sword and it's 2 unknowns. Let us cast a brainstorm here. I'm digging for lightning bolt. I don't want these. These cards are awesome. So now, is there a way for Brian to gain life before I get to assemble force backup? So maybe the move here is to go put back these 2, hold up force, and then draw into the bolt. Let's see if that works. I think we have successfully crafted a plan that could win the game. I accept. So now let's see. Brian can now sword both of my creatures, and then I cast a deadly lightning bolt with force to will backup. So I got lucky this game. Brian didn't find a plow in time. Yep, you got it, buddy. Because now the Meteor Sword is going to take care of the Delver. Then I'm going to draw Lightning Bolt and cast it with backup. So I guess I'm only losing to some weird shenanigans that I can't even think of because I know one of my opponent's cards. Yeah, that was a weird one. Lightning Bolt, Force the Force, if that's Brian's last two cards. Yeah, that was pretty lucky. Let me put it that way. Stoneforge Mystic. Pretty scary. I know Brian's very good at playing around days. So I would love to get rid of those cards. So maybe this is a consigned situation. What if I sideboard like this? Would that be crazy? Maybe I keep in like 2 dazes and then I bring all of these because of, you know, they have Stoneforge. They connect against Stoneforge. They connect against, I guess, Dog on Brian's side of the table. They connect against, yeah, I don't know. Maybe some more stuff. I'm not sure. Blue-Eyed Stoneforge with Failure Riddler. Yep, certainly a Brian deck. I can bring out a Wasteland as well. Not sure how many Tundras Brian is on. Sometimes she's on the double island plane setup. Maybe this is fine, and then on the play I can have a third daze. Okay, we got lucky there that Brian never saw a removal spell. I mean, I had to get super lucky. I mulled to 6 and my turn 1 was Wasteland Pass, so that was not pretty. I had to get lucky. And we got lucky. That's magic, right? People put too much stock in whether I got there or didn't get there. Who cares? The important part is you understand your role and you're playing towards how can I possibly win the game? And then all you can do is hope. Then it's all a matter of, you know, the probabilities. And this time I was able to get, I would imagine I win, I don't know, 1 game, maybe 2 out of 100 where I go Wasteland Pass against a blue-white deck on turn 1. All right, this hand has Tamiyo, Stoneforge, bunch of stuff covered, and a good threat coming up. So this is fine. Brian with the basic lands, a trademark move of his to, I think he said something along the lines of, why would you ever get Wastelanded and Dazed if you can avoid it, or something along those lines. It was, you know, that was a good way to think about it. Lightning Bolt. So Brian is probably a Wasteland deck, so I should play Land Pass here, I feel like. So the dream for me is Brian goes something that I can kill, but no such luck. Also, Brian is known to be a back-to-basics enjoyer. What do I think about that fact? Maybe I should take the turn once more, play my land and pass and chill. I think that's how I play this game. Daze is, funnily enough, a pretty good draw. Does that make me want to slam Corey? Was that a Corey moment? Well, if I slam that card, then what? What if Brian just takes the turn? Is this getting better? I think that's the thing I have to ask myself. Are things getting better from here? I think they could be. Let's try and find a better spot. Okay. So Brian is still not interested in getting dazed, and here's a reason that I could have considered slamming. So maybe this is a daze my own brainstorm situation. Let's see. Fetch. Am I dazing my own brainstorm here? Okay, it might not be bad. Let me daze my own brainstorm. by returning the one Brian is targeting with Wasteland. Now I'm gonna pay for my own days, and then let's see what Brian has to say. Brian plays out a dog in response. That's totally fine. I have my hand full of stuff. And boy, do I like that decision now. I think 2 mana removal is my worst card. Because then I can go ponder and removal spell. All right, that fizzled. I get past the turn. So now I could get Cutter going, but I think that is too ambitious. I think my play here should be... Let's think about this. Probably Unholy Heat. I don't put Brian on heavy Murktide, so let us do this and then ponder afterwards. In a perfect world, I find my third land here. Yeah, okay. This is not bad. So now I still think a Braid is my worst card. Not entirely sure about that. So let's pass. This is a pretty cool game of mana usage, eye staring contest, who blinks first. Free War Formal Wear. Well, that card is very, very good, unfortunately. So let's try and daze it. Brian comes over the top of the daze here, and now I learned the hard way why the Unholy Heat had more utility later on. Delver of Secrets, the draw. And now this is going to be a tough one, I think. Now this is going to be a tough one. My next card is a Braid, so that can kill the equipment. So maybe the move is to actually abrade the Formal Wear on Brian's upkeep. Is that crazy? Abrade the Formal Wear on Brian's upkeep. And then hope I'm not getting Riddlered, because then I think the game is over. What's my alternative? My alternative is something like... Oh boy. If the dog... blinks the Formal Wear now, it doesn't do anything, right? So maybe, just maybe, my move is fetch land, play Delver, take 1 hit, and then next turn do something with a Braid Pyro. Because I'm also holding up Pyro on this turn. Dang. That's high level stuff. Play the fetch out because it's not exposed to Wasteland. Flip the Delver with a Braid. Oh man, this is great. For some reason, a lot of the time when I record, the first game is always the good one. Or the best one, I guess I should call it. So right now, the dog is just a 4/4. So yes, that got wasted. Huh. So now I love this play, by the way, because let's see. Get rid of that card. Okay, get in for 4. So Brian is accepting. Yeah, just getting in for 4. Okay. So now I'm gonna flip this, draw the Abrade. And now we have a little bit of an eye staring contest, I believe. Brian's on 4 cards. Oh. So I guess it's not Riddler. And I guess... So it could be more dog. I don't think it's Stoneforge either. I think Brian is holding up Hydro here, which I'm not sure what to make of. I think Brian is holding up Hydro, so I need to create a game plan that beats that without letting my guard down. Ah, man, this is a super sick game. So maybe this is where I try and use Bobble to find my third land. Let's try that. Bobble. Look at my top card. There's the third land. Not bad. So it looks like I'll be taking one more turn of beatings. And then I'm trying to turn the corner with a braid on the formal wear. And then start winning the race. I'm losing to a lot of things like Riddler, Hydro. Okay, Brian didn't have that card. So Brian can reset my Delver here. That is, of course, annoying. I should probably Surveil here. This is a crazy game. This is Magic. So much stuff. Yeah, this brainstorm is okay. So much stuff happening. So many small details. Using my life total as a resource, trying to find my perfect spot. So let's resolve this first. Here's Delver. Let's fetch here. Let's pulse. Let's see if we can flip the Delver. I cannot flip the Delver. That is a Quarry Steel Cutter, and I don't think that's part of my plan. That's the thing. I think my plan is to flip this Delver and try and race, and Preordain will do exactly that. So now I have a braid with backup on Brian's upkeep. That's not bad. A braid with backup. $13 it is. Passing the turn. Here's a fetch on upkeep. I guess this is where I braid the equipment. Let's see if the Hydro was a good read or not. The Hydro was a good read, and now I will power this through and lose to the Riddler. So I kind of end up in the same place, which is kind of bad, but I don't think I have a choice at this point. Counter target spell if it's blue. So here's Brian fetch. I guess we'll learn about the second island here if he has it. Okay, no second island. That's good to know about. And unfortunately, too many turns passed here with regards to having Quantum Riddler. Wow, no Riddler. That's awesome for us. So I guess Brian's hand is, at the very least, more docks. Could also be uncastable equipment. This is not good for me, because this smells of either Murktide or Teferi. Yeah, that's Murktide Regent. Okay, that's terrible for me. That was a good one. Delver's back. Let's see if we can flip. Pyroblast is the dream. No Pyro. I think in order to play to win, going Cutter, Preordain, Pyroblast is a win, you know, how you play to win here. Let's see if we can find it. Ooh, there's the punish for going Cutter first. So these cards are not playable. We need to find exactly Pyroblast now. And that is going to do it. We died to the Murktide in the air. Okay, that was a sweet game. I was fighting behind for the most of the game. Found a decent game plan. Lots of back and forth eye-staring contest. I do like that. Let's cut a wasteland for a third daze, because I think we can actually put Brian in spots where he's forced to act. And hopefully doesn't have the luxury to keep postponing. Dang, what a great game. That was, I don't know. For some people, that's peak legacy, right? Trying to find the right spot, using your life total as a resource, all of that jazz. All right, this looks like a solid hand. We have the cards in Brian's deck covered out of the gates. And we have some stuff to do. I don't think Murktide sticks very often, though, so we will need some help here. Brian's on a mulligan to 6. Let's see if we can capitalize. Well, these cards are good, but I actually think I should look for better ones. And I need a card like that. Yep. Force Seal Cutter is good here. So if Brian just has land pass countered with a Hydro, that sucks. Brian has a Tamiya. We have to slow down and kill that. Okay, so I guess we're reasonably happy about trading 1 for 1 here. Delver is a good one. Which card do I kill the Tamiya with? I think I kill it with a Pyro. Let's Pyroblast that card. Let's play Delver of Secrets. Okay, we're getting dazed here. That's probably a net win for us. Ponder, that's fine. I think my move is here is to get Cutter going. I think that's the most impactful one, where my opponent can't just go land Plow. I mean, they can go land Hydro, of course, but... Okay, Brian likes those cards, so he has a game. Let's play out a Cutter. Pass the turn, no bobble. If it dies to Hydro, it is what it is. We move on with our day. If not... Ooh, that's a nice one. That makes it significantly harder to double spell, I will say that. Okay. So now, if I draw land, I wonder if I Delver plus Bolt, just simply to get in that damage. I don't even think so. Let's see. I draw a land. Well, I think I should fetch another one and play Murktide Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Murktide Regent it is. Cutter currently doing nothing on the board. I would love for Brian to present me permanence. I expect this to just get plowed and we move on with our day here. Let's see if I'm right about that. I'm not right about that. Oh, wow. This is not good for Brian, because now I can go start my turn with Lightning Bolt. There's no force, so now I can choose between Delver and Ponder, and I think this is the move. Play Delver. That does not get dazed. Here's 7 damage. So I know I have a double spell turn coming. I don't know if I have a Delver flip. Let's see what this is. Wrath of the Skies would be a cool one. The Fairy, that is also a cool one. So Murktide gets bounced. So if I draw a fetch land, I can double spell with the Murktide. Daze is not bad at all. Let's kill the Teferi. Destroy target permanent if it's blue. That would be that clown. Now, do I have 10 damage here? If I play Ponder, that resolves, and I daze the Ponder, then what? 8. I think, let's see. Math is hard. So, Ponder. So, like this. Equip. If I daze here, is it lethal? Let's see, I have 7 right now. So if I daze here, that's going to... Nope, I have 8 here, so that's going to be 10. Okay. All right, all right. Looks like we counted to 20 successfully. All right, we got there against all odds in game 1. Very cool game 2, and then here just trying to count to 20 as fast as possible while Brian is busy, again, not drawing swords to plowshares. So, yeah, cool start. Let's keep up the good work. Guys, quick pause on the video here. I just want to make sure everybody knows what a Booksmart Baron membership will grant you. I have in-depth strategy articles. I have a free tournament series with thousands of treasure chests, including 4 qualifiers in the yearly finals. I have guys sharing their ups and downs with tournament results, achievements, etc. Of course, I have the challenge calls that goes on every weekend where players are spectating each other's, hopefully, grind towards greatness. I have a ton of resources when it comes to VIPs hanging out in the server, ready to inspire and answer questions. I have guest primers from the absolute best killers in the business on their respective favorite decks. Here are some testimonials you can pause the video and read. And of course, last but not least, I have my own personal deck guides of decks that I've either 5-0'd with, top-8'd challenges with. All of that is for the taking with a Booksmart Baron membership. Remember to use code ECO50 to save in your first month. And now, let's get back to the video. All right, more tempo action coming your way. I'm on the draw here with what looks to be a solid hint. Mox Diamond. That's not exactly how I want my opponent to start the game, I must say. Here's Lance. Here's a Rumble. And the opponent found, I guess, a Wasteland. So now I basically can never beat the card Life from the Loam. That's how it goes sometimes. I think I should play Delver here because in a perfect world, it's more damage faster. Let's see. My opponent has a Life from the Loam in the mix. We are done for. Tabernacle is kind of like a Wasteland here. It does make a card like Exploration insane. Life from the Loam. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be beatable. We can move on here. Not sure about playing out the Tabernacle, to be honest, but that's all right. Let's see, lands. I recorded a video last week where I just didn't get to play against lands, so let's hope this is a little bit better. I'm gonna include it this time. Last time, I think I played like an Ornithopter, maybe one Thoughtseize the other game, and the game was just over. But I'll include it this time. So Unholy Heat is straight up brick. Cutter is unexciting. You can get rid of those two at least. Lightning Bolt is also very unexciting. I'm at 63 right now. I could easily cut some forces. I don't think that card is... I mean, I guess I want to draw one occasionally. Daze is also bad, so there's that. So maybe like this is fine. In general, I have a lot of bad cards against lands, and then I have a few bangers. The Price of Progress being the best one. All right, what can we do here? I can turn 1 Delver, and I can maybe Daze something like a Rumble. But yeah, Daze is just not great against the deck. I need to get a Delver going. Now, the question is this a mono blue situation where I should go and get Island? Yeah. I think getting Island here is the move, because I can win off of a couple of Delvers. And the deck is only running a single Ghost Quarter. I think if the opponent has Ghost Quarter, it's just comedy more than anything. I think it's totally fine. You can't really outbrain yourself. Soul Guide Lantern. That is totally fine. So now I will flip my Delver. The other move is to develop one more. If I break on land... Okay, we can try it. I don't break on land, so let's not reveal that card. Let's cast... Oh, wait a minute. So how do I play here? Could go cutter. Maybe I just play like this. Land, Delver, attack for 1, then set up to start attacking for 6 starting next turn. Crop rotation Tabernacle is an actual concern. Rumble, that is a card I should daze. Pay 1 more, buddy. I can't allow my opponent to dig for like a quote-unquote tutor, maybe mill a loam, etc., etc. I should fetch my Volcanic Island and cast Brainstorm to free up mana. And then I need an instant or a sorcerer in my top 3. I guess there it is. So let's see. What if I put back Land Force? Right, that works. Land Force. Okay. Flip. Play Cutter, play Bauble. All right, it works. Tabernacle, backbreaking. But thankfully I have the Force of Will for the crop rotation. The opponent's trying to figure out if they should pop the Lantern here on the draw step because of Murktide Regent. That's a reasonable concern. Flip Force. Flip Force. Draw. Fetch the basic island I just put back. Cutter. Bauble. Okay. The opponent's just, you know, getting run over here, but I think there's something like Wasteland my land, crop for Tabernacle, stabilize. Like, the opponent wasn't dead here, but we did put on a lot of pressure. Okay, Daze is on the draw. Unplayable. Let's just have the forces back for the lack of better cards. Yeah, I think this is fine. My opponent has Endurance. That's annoying, but it's not industry standard at this point, so I don't think I want to have a heat in my deck because of that. All right, game 3 against lands, 2 landslides in both directions, and now I'm on the draw for game 3, so not exactly where I want to be. Let's see if we can overcome it with smart play and good draws. I think we need it. It would be cool to see the price of progress in the mix, to see how big of a difference maker it is on any given Sunday. Patiently waiting for my opponent to fan out the hand. Of course, I know this for myself when I play some tournaments. You know, I have stuff going on, and I can't really worry about if my opponent is pressing record, intending to upload a video on YouTube. So, of course, that's what it is. This hand is not great at all. This hand is actually, I mean, you know, I'll lose to some Ursa Saga draws. That's magic. This is what we need, I think, for this hand to make sense. Wasteland, that's solid. I'm cashing in the first bauble. If I have exactly Core Steel Cutter on top of my deck, I don't have to sack the second bauble. But if I have anything else, I will. So play that. Am I interested in getting Wastelanded? I am actually going to present the Volcanic Island, because if I draw Chandler and have to kill a bauble, kill an Ursa Saga, that's what I want to see. Okay, my opponent does not fetch. So now I look like a little bit of a fool, because I was expecting my opponent to surveil end of turn. But they in actual truth is surveilled, so that's why they couldn't do it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, this is where I have a peek. And now my play is going to be to kill the district. They kept exploration on top, so with that, what does that mean? Keeping exploration on top. Is that because they just... Man. So the cool thing is that's actually a sick bluff. If they just intend to fetch that away because they're landlight. So now the thing is, first of all, do I think my opponent's good enough to make that play? And second of all, does he think I'm good enough to pick up on it? It's really high level stuff. And here's exactly what I was talking about. That's really cool. I did, because imagine I play Island last turn, right? That is exactly why I played like this. Very cool to see. So now I'm actually gonna kill this, but I'm gonna. Ooh, am I a big brain? Am I a big brain player? I'll wait until the draw step. Because then if my opponent... Because they can just draw that card if they want to, right? Okay, so kill that card. And now I think I have to force a will a crop rotation. Oh my god. Did we get him? With the good old draw step? Or is this just some second main phase action? Basic forest, that makes a lot of sense. Versus Saga, that makes a lot of sense. We had an idea. Life from the Loam. That card is so annoying here. I think it's going to be crucial to counter that card. Let's see if I'm right about it. I want to force it, I want to kill the Saga, and I want my opponent to be landlight this game. Force a will is the instant. Do I want a creature? I think I want a creature. Yeah, I want a creature. Okay. Force a will the Loam feels bad. Let's see. Force a negation the next card. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Because I'm only attacking for one. That's kind of the problem. Artifact, land, instant. Okay, I'm going to mill this card over. Yeah, this could come back to bite me for sure. Can we draw play? I'm the greatest. What a draw. Force a negation. Guess I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, you got me. Force a negation and a ponder. Is ponder better than a random card, or is it simply better to like keep trucking here and then make a bigger Murktide? I think if I opponent brick on land here, I'm going to be very happy with the extra blue card. So let's play like this. Now, kill the Saga, attack for 3. And now, if my plan comes to fruition, they don't have the second land, so they can't dredge Loam. But if they do, I negate it while I keep attacking with this clown. Let's see. They're thinking hard about an upkeep play. Here's the replacement effect. And they don't do it. Okay, here's another Saga. That's annoying, not gonna lie. I am gonna accept this card because I don't think my opponent has a ton of lands. Okay, I was super wrong. Okay, well, well, there's that. A1, yes. Now, the Murktide looks a little bit sketchy here. But maybe not. Maybe my opponent is going to dredge the Loam. I'm going to negate it. Then I'm going to... Yeah. Okay, well, let's get in for 3. And then my hope is my opponent dredges Loam, because why wouldn't they? I negate them for the effective Time Walk. And then I slam Murktide before the opponent can tutor a Soul Guide to clear my graveyard. Let's see if it works out. And then I have to remember I have 2 bolts and a single Price of Progress in my deck to kind of finish off my opponent if necessary. Here comes Life from the Loam. Here comes Force Negation. Price of Progress. Cutter. I don't want a cutter. So here's the Time Walk I was talking about. Ooh, Maze of Ith is a good one. Dang. Okay. I could be in trouble now. Let's see. I could be in trouble now, baby. The opponent natural drew some annoying lands here. That's magic. Lightning bolt may or may not be good. Well, let's attack first. And now, yep, you got it. 4 types in the yard. Let me play Murktide Regent, exiling instant land sorcery, I guess. This way I'm leaving artifact land sorcery. I have an instant to fire from hand. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah. Okay, I'm in trouble against the maze, unfortunately. 13. Yeah, the maze cooked me here. I liked everything else that was going on. That's magic, right? Let's see. The opponent finds expedition map, then rumbles. So now the opponent can, I guess, play land and then map for another maze. I think that's how they should play, at least. Let's see the second maze. Oh, Taiga. Fair enough. So they brought in Pyroblast, I guess. Here's Pyroblast. So now... Now the question is, should I bolt my opponent to start digging? And I think the answer is yes. So we might as well do this now. That's a fun one. Nope. Pay 1. Draw. Surgical Extraction. Is that card good? Not sure it does much of anything here. Well, we have to attack. The opponent has no loam in rotation. The opponent is stable with the maze. So I'm trying to find creatures or price of progress before the opponent finds the next loam. The opponent plays out another land. Getting wasted. Maybe this is where I surgical the wasteland. Because I can't really beat my opponent drawing another one of those. And I actively want to dig. So let's surgical loam. Consign to memory. It doesn't do anything. Let's have a look at my opponent's full deck. They do have a million endurances. Okay. That's scary. Ice Till Explorer, a couple of Pyros. Okay. So now let's pay. So I'm basically drawing towards another Chandler, a Delver, the price. That's kind of what I need to win this game. So sometimes you just have to throw your spells overboard and know how you win the game. Let's see. I'll pay with the island because that opens up red stuff. Let's draw a 1-drop. That is not a 1-drop, but that is a land that, you know, keeps looking for that card. So here, normally I wouldn't attack with my creature here, but it's a must attack. All right. It's kind of a race between my opponent's deck and the price of progress. It looks like they drew Endurance there, which I can't do anything about. Consign to memory. All right. No Endurance. Or, you know, they don't care. 2 great options. I guess the consign can buy some time against Ursa's Saga in a pinch. Yes. So what are they gonna go for here? Ursa's Saga it is. Well, I'm gonna consign chapter 2 on that card. Then I'm gonna keep digging for the price. Here's Lightning Bolt. Well, I think Lightning Bolt is better than a random card because it puts my opponent to 7, which then makes the price more likely to be live. Wait a minute, the Knackle is gone here. Okay, well, doesn't change anything for me. Let's attack with the Channeler, have it mazed. Pass. The opponent will remove a counter from Dark Depths if they bother. I wonder, maybe they can, like, I don't know, Needle Wasteland. I don't think they have second map. Let's see what they're tutoring. Oh, they drew a crop rotation. That's awesome. Oh no, they just flipped the mana. Okay. That's fine. That is fine. Here's Soul Guide Lantern. I have 5 types, so... Okay, that card is gone. Let's see if they cash it in right away in like one way or the other. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Present Progress currently lethal, which is why I should Lightning Bolt end of turn. Not going to go for a land. The opponent has a cool situation where if I draw Wasteland, they can, you know, crack this card afterwards. To clear my graveyard to only make it a 1-drop. At this point, I wonder if price is on my opponent's radar. Who knows? Who knows? It's on my radar. It's better than having 0 Price of Progress in your deck. All right. Mazed. And now they pop the graveyard. That's a interesting read, right? Because if I draw Murktide, I just slam it. I don't risk my opponent playing poorly with the Lantern. Opponent with 2 cards. I'm losing... Okay, that card doesn't do anything. I'm losing to Loam. Okay, the opponent plays out stuff. I mean... Price of Progress 1 time. Brainstorm. A. So... I will now Brainstorm, because if I hit Wasteland, I can get in for uncontested damage. Oh yeah, opponent being a great sport here. That's always cool. Do I want a creature? Do I believe in creatures getting the job done here? Do I believe in that? Because this turn I'm getting in for 1. Then my opponent has 1 more draw. Yeah, I'll try and keep the Delver. Let's see if I can flip that Delver on the following turn. I can. So now I go put back land, put back Surgical, play Delver, attack for 1. Yeah, this is getting a little bit close. I could have been digging harder for the price, but I think this is on the money when it comes... Like, I think it's just good enough is my point. Okay, my opponent has to pass here. Also, I have to think about endurance. That is annoying. I have to think about endurance. Just saying it out loud here. Does that change anything for how I'm supposed to play. Let's imagine the opponent has endurance here. What do I do? What do I do if I believe my opponent has endurance? That's the question. Maybe the answer is if my opponent has crop rotation, I'm supposed to stay back with blockers. So with that logic, what do I surgical? The opponent has 4 Ursa Sagas in the graveyard. That makes no sense. Maybe I simply just play it as a peek. I guess I target the crop rotation. I think that's solid. Could also be Rumble, to be honest. Let's take the Rumble, pay 2 life, mill the land. And then now I get to learn whether my opponent has a good card or a bad card in hand. My opponent's hand is crop rotation, so that's why we can't attack. And now I should pass the turn because my opponent is going to build a creature. All right, great game here. Really great game. Opponent's at 6. And now here's Thespian Stage, making the 2020. I have 2 blockers, so, I mean, we're not dead. We're still in there. Here's Merit Lage. Here's the block. 6 life points. I just drew the price of progress. That is crazy. That is simply crazy. So if my opponent has exactly crop rotation, they can beat me. So that's why I should play this out now. Because if they actually have that card, they crop away something. They only take 4. Yeah. Price of progress it is. Let's see it. Let's see the crop rotation, buddy. I'm staring at the chat here. All right, opponent didn't like it. I thought this was awesome magic. Sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. And yeah, this time I played towards this for 10 straight turns, and then again, whether I find it or not, that is you know, that's random, right? So yeah, I don't know what to say. If you don't like this, you simply don't like Legacy. All right, let's play some more. All right, let's get it on for round number 3. I can't stop smiling about the last one because yeah, I don't know I don't know whether to laugh or cry over somebody who can't appreciate a game going on for 26 turns. I'm obviously playing towards a certain goal, so is my opponent. And then it's just up to the gods whether we get there or not. I mean, the pre-combat surgicals to learn about whether I should attack or block, and I don't know, how can you not love that? It's a little bit sad, but I also find it quite entertaining, I must say. All right. This hand looks great. We have a 1-drop. We can get going with some baubles. Ooh, we're playing against the new deck that won the showcase just yesterday at the time of this recording. Let's see. Am I supposed to start thinning my deck with one of the fetches? I mean, I could see that. I don't think that's crazy. Maybe if I do this, Channeler, Bauble. Let's see how we like this card. Do I like this card? I think I do, because then I have a Daze and a Force Pitch. But I could mill a creature here, I guess. Yeah, it's a tough one. So let's do that. And now the question is, should I slow roll this Bauble? And I think the answer is yes. So let me do this. Planner Nexus. Nice draw, buddy. Maybe this changes my sense of urgency because I should be digging for Wasteland now, unfortunately. All right, let's do that. Let's draw a couple of cards. Another Chandler. And a dead land, so quite bad. Oh yeah, the opponent's living the dream here. I am supposed to counter this, dig hard for Wasteland, and then sometimes get there, I was about to say. So the reason to do this is... Ooh, so now my opponent has 4 mana here. Yeah, this is crazy to have 4 mana through a Force of Will. That's just so sick. But hey, I had a good plan here. Let's oh, Tray Ball. Okay, so I guess Tray Ball is... My plan is now the opponent can play the game. So let's see. My last decision of this game, I feel like, is to analyze which land my opponent would lead with. If they had 2 towers, they lead on tower. If they have 2 nexuses, they lead on nexus. So I think I should kill the nexus here. I realized that mine plus power plant is, you know, Tron, but let's try this out. I think my only way to play the game is my opponent stops playing right now. But I was about to say, I think they always have 1 more land here because they drew that and, you know, they wanted to keep their hand, obviously. So, wait a minute. Metalcraft, 1, 2, 3. So right now the opponent has 3 mana. So if they wanted to, they could have killed that one. So now they're going to jam 4 drops on me and I'm a dead... Oh, yeah, okay, well. They're going to jam a million mana here on me. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm just going to lose to Ugin here, which is all good. Okay, we can stop this game. Yet that hand was just so resilient, and drawing the Nexus there was dirty. Dirty. Not much to do there. All right, let's add some solid cards here in the place of quote-unquote do-nothings, like these. Maybe... Am I supposed to have 2 bolts here, or am I supposed to have 1 cutter? I can cut all the cutters. I don't think that's crazy. I think Price of Progress kind of counts as a win con. I don't think these days are particularly good, but they can be good with certain draws, like lead on 1 drop or have a couple of wastelands, etc. All right. Easy mulligan. Yeah, this is very bad because Bolt and Brazen are my worst spells in the deck, period. I guess let's get rid of a Lightning Bolt here. Turn 1 Chandler. I have a Wasteland. I have a Brainstorm. Let's see how it goes. Bobble is a good one because that allows me to do some Brainstorm shenanigans here. So let's start with that. I should mill a creature here for sure because then I think I get to Delirium. Huh. Yeah. This is atrocious because I can only mill 1 card with Bobble. I think I have to be a big boy here. I really don't like that. So I will put back 2 fetches. Yeah, this is really bad. Then I'll play a Chandler. And then I'm going to be naked on the next turn. I guess I'm digging somewhat hard with this Bobble. Let's see if I'm digging hard enough. Artifact to the yard. Okay. Okay. I mean, we take those. So now let's have a look. Now, actually, I have a good plan. I just had to get lucky there on the Chandler, because now I force will my opponent's power play if they even have one. And then I hopefully wasteland them into... I guess calling it the dirt is too much. Sorcerer's Spyglass. The problem is they're going to be naming Wasteland with this card. Now, do I believe that forcing this card is better and then wasting... I don't think so. I think this is annoying. So now a cool thing is if I draw any blue card, I can bounce the Spyglass and Wasteland my opponent to hopefully buy time. And they will name Wasteland. That's fair. Now I draw a red card. I mean, that's a lot of damage. And I have a Force of Will, so yes, let's attack for 6. That's the opponent down to 11. And then I can attack for 9 next time. So no Ancient Tomb can get tapped here unless the opponent is winning the game in one swoop. Tower. Let's see what this is. Grim Monolith. Yes, you got it. So here's another Monolith, which then turns on the workshop. Huh. So now the opponent currently has 1/2 mana. If 1, 2, 3, I'm actually gonna Force a Will this card. I don't love it, but I think I have to try and cut off my opponent here. Look for Bolt to win the game. Bolt or Price? Can we close out the game? Chandler's not gonna do it. Quad Chandler's funny. Let's see if they have a play here. They have a 0 mana artifact. I'm super cooked. Because we're trying to bottleneck our opponent here with tap Monolith, no Metalcraft, right? Bolt? That's not a bolt. Guess let's play this card out. Let's attack our opponent down to 2. And come get me, Tiger. Come and get me, Tiger. Let's see if they can beat me here with 4 mana. 1 ring, maybe. I guess Tray Ball into 1 ring also works. That's kind of cool. You can free roll it by getting Metalcraft and then turn on the workshop. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Tray Ball, 1 ring. My opponent has protection. And they're drawing. Okay. So can we find the bolts? How many do we have? 1 or 2? We have 2 bolts and Brainstorm. The thing is, Brainstorm looks at a lot of cards, though. But then they get 1 turn. How desperate am I? Because I do have a deck with 2 consigns, 2 negations, the price, and 2 bolts. Yeah, because of the Training Sphere, I'm actually going to get rid of that card. That's unfortunate. All right, draw step. Daze. Probably not relevant here. These guys are must attack. Pass. Also, a Braid would have been live here, but guess not that great of a card. All right, opponent. It's time to win the game. With 1 million mana, should be no problem at all. Each workshop tapping for 5 is a lot. 10 mana. We will be swimming with the fishes shortly here. I'm just gonna let my opponent do some stuff. 18 mana. 19. I guess that's a good way to check how much mana you have. Just simply tap all your lands and see what happens. Arn, the great creator. You got it. Go get an artifact. Sure, buddy. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. The opponent has to beat I guess the 1 ring as well, right? But Paradox, if there's Paradox Engine in that deck, it should just be game over. Let's see what the card is gonna get. Because the opponent has to clear the 1 ring. No Ensnaring Birch in the world is gonna do anything. Lattice is not gonna do anything. I guess at this point I'm just curious because most of the time, you know what's coming, right? But I don't know what's coming here. I'm actually interested to see how we round out the video here. That was sick. My opponent handily beat Fast Clock with, was it 1 force or 2 forces? Not sure. I think it was just 1 force, though. Yeah, 1 force. So Spyglass took care of Wasteland. Ormot's Crypt. Okay, so now the opponent's going to go Ugin on us, I guess. So I guess this is where I cash in my days. Because I want 3 triggers looking for the same card. Nope, there's a Trinisphere. Nope, there's a Trinisphere and Spyglass. Nope, there's a Trinisphere. All right, so Ugin is starting to pick apart my creatures. Then the opponent gains life. That makes a lot of sense. So now me digging for a bolt and price makes, you know, a lot of sense. Let's see what this is. The opponent... Oh, where's the Tormod's Crypt? Okay, there's still the Tormod's Crypt, so the opponent can get rid of everything here. That's all good. Pretty cool game of trying to get there, kind of like against the lands deck, right? Where, okay, I need to deal 20. How do I deal 20 before the opponent executes their game plan? It's the same thing, really. Now the only question is, can we get there? We cannot. So now the opponent's gonna... Let's see... Gain 3 life, draw a card. Yeah, this is going to do it. The opponent's going to go to 2, draw a million, you know, Karn, Paradox Engine, etc. Good games, cool deck. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. I had a lot of fun. Playing Izzet Tempo is always a treat. And yeah, getting some nail biters in the mix here was pretty cool. I tried my best to dig for the cards in the last 2 matchups. First one was cool because we played against Bosch and Roll and we got to win an unlikely game 1 and then exchange some games afterwards. Got there against lands with my 1 of that I teched before doing this video. That's all you can really ask about out of your Magic experience these days. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much to 4 Seasons for sponsoring me over here. And yeah, if you want anything more, I can highly recommend becoming a YouTube member. I have challenge wins, 5-0 runs. I have Eyes on the Prize video with Eureka. I have Metagame Monday After Dark. In short, the best $5 you've ever spent. And yeah, speaking about time spent, I have enjoyed my time here, and I'll see you back soon for some more sweet, sweet Legacy action.